Yeah, and actually, I guess that can kind of segue into a couple of questions. I would have had a lot more, but we had to do sound checks and whatnot. Whatever, it's beside the point.
So back to your not judging people. It goes for drugs and setting up equipment. And go ahead, Rob. I was just messing with you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. That was awkward. But anyway.
But see, this guy, he'll judge me about
therapy?
What my...
I think we might, because...
Like what kind of ice cream I get. And it's like, dude, that's the same thing, you know?
He's talking about, like, sweating ice cream like it's alcohol. Would it come out smelling like alcohol? Or would it come out smelling like
beer? No, you see, that wasn't the point.
What the hell are we talking about?
It had nothing to do with me smelling like ice cream. I'm just saying, your body could only take this much. Like alcohol, your body can only process this much before it starts dispersing it out your pores. Would it do the same thing with ice cream?
I don't think so.
I tried telling him that.
Because it doesn't do that with caffeine.
No.
How do you know?
You don't sweat.
Because I drink caffeine nonstop, 24/7.
I was going to say, it smelled a little caffeine in here when you walked
in. No, I don't.
Yeah, I never noticed it either. Never noticed it.
You never noticed it, huh? Okay. So
I'm going to go get some of that acupuncture.
Yeah.
Anyway. So Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Corey.
Back to the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, well, and I had asked Corey about this because he said something, and he really didn't do it justice as far as what he was trying to go over. So I'm going to ask you. Now, with the peer recovery training, how does that work in Michigan? Because I was told that if you have a misdemeanor or a felony, you do not qualify for training for the peer recovery. Now, is that a Michigan thing? Is that a nationwide thing? How does that work?
First of all, from my experience, I can tell you that it's absolutely not correct at all.
Okay, thank you.
For the 21, and I'll speak on behalf of the 21 northern counties, I've had 5 misdemeanors, and I've taken Recovery Coach Academy. So the agency in the north that does Recovery Coach Academy, we do ask for your background check. But we really do it more for that we want to see what type of experience you have. What have you been through so that you can help another person? For instance, you've had 5 misdemeanors, or you've had 2 or 3 and you've lost your driver's license, and you've had to get the interlock device installed, and you've had to fight to get that interlock device taken out. We want people like that can help another person walk through that process. So we do not, the only thing that the 21 county agency that offers Recovery Coach Academy is we don't allow people to be face-to-face coaches for someone that's had a high offense, assault case, or a CSC charge. Okay. But we keep them engaged in other ways. So they might not be a recovery coach where they meet with another person, but we're going to find out what their talents are and build on that.
Okay, now, what if they want to get certified through the state?
There's no question on getting certified through the state as far as your personal background or criminal background.
Okay. What about to work in a hospital?
So to work in the hospital, that's a great question. So what happens is what we've got going on here in Petoskey is the recovery coaches that may have a blemished record or criminal record is they're actually hired by a fiduciary. And currently right now that's Harbor Hall. So Harbor Hall hires them, but they work in the emergency department. And so that's how we're able to get around that. And that's what we've been doing in every hospital that hires recovery coaches for the emergency room.
Okay, so it's kind of like a third party?
Yeah, third party.
Okay.
And so right now the contract with McLaren here in Petoskey is that it's a shared responsibility between, as far as the wage or the salary of that person, is McLaren pays part and Harbor Hall, the fiduciary, pays the other half of that person's salary. And that will continue for 2 to 3 years, depending on the contract. And then upon that 3rd year, if the hospital finds value in it, then they can write different bylaws within that hospital and take on that full responsibility of the wage in years 3 and 4 and so on.
So that goes by individual then, that is hired through the third party?
Right now that goes through the fiduciary and the hospital that makes those contracts. And if they don't see value in it in 3 years, which there's no way that they can't, then they would just rewrite the contract or the bylaws or whatever the hospital would have.
Okay, so this is just over a broad generalization then of actual peer recovery coaches. It's not based on an individual participation or...
No, it's basically a pilot program that we've started, and that's how it's currently working right now.
Okay. All right.
But you go to like places down in like Gladwin, who they've been doing it for 5 to 6 years, and they're fully paid by the hospital. And the hospital just wrote like an addendum to their hiring or, employment policy that would allow them to hire those individuals with that background for the sake of that role or that job title specifically.
Yeah.
So, but they're not going to take the time to do that until they see the value in the position.
Right. Okay. Well, because, as you were saying, as far as the politics gets into it, it seems to really get in the way. Well, I don't know. I guess getting in the way is too... I don't want to say get in the way, but it seems to create barriers
Sure.
in certain aspects.
And I would still say, even in recovery, working in the recovery-related field, I've still faced those same barriers. But when given the opportunity to discuss my criminal background, then things have changed differently. But we need, as long as that person's permitted the opportunity to speak about it or write a letter on their behalf, then there's usually a lot more leniency to allow someone to go to bat for you, so to speak, so that you can get hired in any position.
Right. Because, and again, it would seem counterproductive for somebody to say that you should be in this position because of a misdemeanor or a certain felony or whatever because of their socioeconomic status or their demographics,
right,
when somebody that's already been in this position would be much more effective trying to help somebody else that's going through it. So it just seems to me, because in talking with a couple of other people, this was kind of blurred as far as what the hiring was for this. But I'm glad you clarified that, because it just it seems like you were saying earlier that politics can kind of be a barrier for a lot of this.
No, and just to just recap on that, for the Recovery Coach Academy, in order to take the training, your criminal history is seen as a value, not as a hindrance.
Right.
So knowing that, what other obstacles you've had to face, in your life could help another person. And even if, someone had a felony, there's ways of getting around the employment. There's certainly hundreds and hundreds of employers that hire they're felony friendly. They say that right on their website. There's a huge list on it, Indeed, which is one of the major job sites that I use or refer people to, just because I think it's easy to navigate through. But if you typed in there felony-friendly employers, a slew of, employers does show up. So it's not that you have to do a job that doesn't add value to you or it doesn't have any meaning.
Yeah.
It can certainly be something that, fits what you like to do.
Well, that's good to know.
What was that lady talking about the other day? Because she was saying something about the 2 years, you had to be clean 2 years, and then I was like, oh, but you mean just not go to treatment for 2 years or go to a hospital? As long as that's not any record, you can be, oh yeah, I've been clean 2 years.
Yeah, it's so...
What was she talking about with all that?
So what she was talking about, she was referring to the state Recovery Coach Academy, and that is a little bit different, and those requirements do present a lot of barriers. That in order to take the training, you have to be 2 years clean and sober. Really, that's to your own self-attest. For, the agency NEMSAS, we ask that you're 6 months clean and sober, still to your own same attest. And we have a saying, you're in recovery when you say you are. So, what if I was an individual that my primary drug of use was alcohol, but now I smoke marijuana? If I consider myself in recovery because I smoke marijuana for a medical purpose, am I in recovery or am I not in recovery? Well, that's up to me to decide, not for the public.
Right.
So, not for anyone else's perception. So, if you're using it for a medical purpose, or maybe you're using it for recreationally and it's not a problem, then you're in recovery when you say you are.
I'm glad you said that, because I heard a wise man say that same thing recently. Mm-hmm. It was pretty awesome. I'm glad.
Was that Tom McHale? Or
no,
toward
No.
I think he's referring to himself, probably.
Oh.
Yeah.
Knowing him, he's
Oh.
got. Were you? Yeah.
How
did I know that?
I don't know.
You know,
You're
throughout
smart,
all
Rob.
of our career, in this, our personal history development, which, PhD, we hear things and we kind of steal shamelessly from those.
Yeah.
And so that's okay.
I don't know if you could take full credit for that one, though, Corey. I think you might have picked that up somewhere.
Yeah, it was good that I remembered it then, huh?
Yeah,
You know,
good
that's
that
what
you
I'm saying.
remembered it.
But I thought about smoking pot. I think it was midway through my tour of rehabs of Michigan. I was in, anyway, the
plethora-
place doesn't
the
matter. But yeah, it
plethora
was
of
Grand
rehabs.
Rapids place. But anyway, I thought to myself, you know what, Corey? You don't like smoking pot and drinking at the same time, so you should just smoke pot, because then you won't want to drink. Ha ha. Yeah, which all that did was make me not get off the couch and go, oh my God, this is not the same pot I smoked when I was 18. Woo, this is crazy. Give me my drink. And went right back to drinking. So that was just dumb. And then it's just replacing one for another. And it wasn't about the substance that I was using. It was about why I was trying to use the substance in the first place.
Right.
That at that time, halfway through, I didn't know. I didn't understand. I just thought that that'd be a good little switch. And
Yeah. I've certainly seen people with 20, 30 years of sobriety that have decided to go the medical or recreational marijuana route and have quickly went right back to their main drug of use,
And,
unfortunately,
and
then had to get right back on track
And I'm
if they get the opportunity to come back.
I'm sure there are people, though, that, are all kinds of back pain, and who knows, why they used. Maybe they didn't have an emotional problem, or maybe they didn't have something they were running from. Maybe they just did it because I don't know, whatever it be, alcohol or heroin or whatever, pills. Maybe they're like, maybe that does help them. Maybe that does it for them. I don't know. But I'm not knocking anybody for doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
I just know that recovery is awesome. It's a lot of fun. The U family, I'm so excited. You saw our banner. We showed you our banner.
It's nice.
Yeah.
You guys did a great job.
Yeah.
Thanks.
T-shirts, name tags. Yeah.
The name tag things, which
Yeah.
we weren't talking about yet, but that's cool.
By the way, when you go, you'll get a bag, like one of those reusable shopping bags. I would take an extra because there's going to be a lot of giveaways, a lot of trinkets, a lot of pamphlets, a lot of brochures, upcoming events that, you just want to take that all home and then just go through it one by one and just kind of lay them out in a calendar of which ones you got to be at next. But, all the different trinket things, people love that stuff, and they'll just go crazy for it. And I plan on taking extra just so that the people that didn't get the opportunity to go can get, some of those things. So,
Did you hear what we were going to do to try to raise money? Raise hundreds? Water. Because people don't bring water there, right? Because you can come by our booth and for a donation. Is that something that we shouldn't even try?
no, I think you can do that.
You moved your eye a little bit.
Well, I think you can do that. Like, I don't know. I don't recall anyone.
Would that
Scott
be
said it was
tacky?
fine.
Would that be tacky?
Then if
kinda?
Scott said it was
Now
fine,
I'm
then
name
you can do
dropping.
that.
What's up, Scott?
Yeah.
Scott Massey.
But there's going to be other free water there that's
Yeah,
actually free.
So that kind of wouldn't. I don't think
What
that
should
would
we?
fly.
What should we do, Joyce? We can
Yeah,
have
we're,
Rob
we're fishing for ideas,
stand out there.
Yeah, with a hat, like a clown hat, clown shoes, and just doing stupid stuff, And
I don't know. I would have to think on that one.
Yeah, well, we've asked for some feedback. I don't know if we've gotten any or not, as far as what
Just
some good
nude
ideas would
pictures,
be.
just dumb stuff that we're not going to do.
Oh well. So yeah,
Kissing booth.
Good luck.
with who?
You we'll set you out there.
with
There'll
me.
be some good ones.
You never know.
Be some good ones. There's some hot people there.
Yeah, there's a lot of really attractive people there. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I will be,
Yeah.
but hopefully, I don't know. I'm kind of getting nervous at this point, but I mean, I know what I'm doing with the event. And
Well, if it's a total bomb, I'm going to blame it all on you, dude.
Can't be a bum. Just being there, providing your information. If you collect enough business cards, maybe you could have a drawing of people dropping their business cards, but not everyone's going to have those. Maybe put a drawing in there to win. You'll come out and do someone's podcast of their next event. They certainly do walks and rallies and, dunk tanks, things like that.
I'm like, yeah, we'll come out to your event, but you have to pay us gas money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You win.
You never know.
But yeah, we'd show up. We're pretty cool guys.
You never know.
Did you say we needed